Welcome to Bust Picks, episode 65. My name is Dio. That is Don.
How we doing?
That was weird. That was the first time we've done the intro without, intro music. It's currently playing for them, but I can't hear it. I feel like a crazy person.
A little bit, yeah, to mentally just go.
It feels like every show, that's live, they're like, all right, 5, 4, 3, and then they go 2, 1 without saying anything. To get them snapped into a show.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm blind right now.
No, because we didn't do that. You just started talking.
Correct, which is, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, we're fine.
Hi, welcome back, guys. It's been a long 2 weeks. I've lost more money than I can think of. I can't nail my picks, and I think I figured out a solution for it today.
All right, let's hear what it is.
We're going to get through it later. We're going to start, though, fact of the day, Don.
Fact of the day. I finally found something other than the Ben Simmons second-year rookie award when he got it in his second year.
Beat Kyle Kuzma for it.
And I know that you always get on your soapbox and preach Anthony Richardson should be treated as a rookie still.
He was, and still hasn't played 16 games.
So the NHL has also had this issue.
This isn't an issue. This should be across the board.
No, this one's the most egregious one, I think.
Let's hear it.
Unless you make the case that Richardson's still a rookie, which is even wilder.
Red shirt, but yeah.
2013, Jake Allen was named to the NHL's All-Rookie team. Mm-hmm. He started 15 games. There's only 48 games that season. It was a lockout year for the due to the players' union.
Yeah.
Started 15 games, went 9-4, was named to the NHL All-Rookie team.
Okay. What year?
In 2013.
2013.
Missed all, or 2012-2013 season.
Gotcha.
Missed all of the 13-14 season with injury. Mm-hmm. Came back for the 14-15 season. And ended up playing 37 games. Getting a 22-7 record. And was again named to the NHL All-Rookie team. Because he never actually played a full season. It took him until year 4 to finally play the full 82 games in a season.
That's kind of like the super seniors in college who play who graduated 9 years ago and they're still I'm eligible for one more year and they continue to play.
Yeah.
We're just dude, what are we doing?
If you're getting your second master's program, your eligibility should be cut.
What? So if you were this rookie, say you got added to the all rookie team your 4th year, are you excited or are you man, I might suck?
Well, year 3, and I think it's great because he ended up having a good career. He was on the St. Louis Blues for a while, then was on Montreal. He's on the New Jersey Devils right now. Mm-hmm. He's had a very long career, made a couple All-Star games. Jake Allen's not a great goalie. He is solid.
But he had 2 rookie years. I like it. We should I'm telling you, as an Anthony Richardson guy, we should be giving more players double rookie
I just wanted to, this is me officially stepping back from that argument. I apologize. Apparently that is a thing.
There's a couple players that I want to give a second rookie year to. Mm-hmm. I think Caleb Williams deserves a second rookie year.
No.
I think Leggett from the Carolina Panthers deserves a second rookie year.
Yeah.
If we wipe out what happened last year, he's a rookie again.
If you get injured, if you have a season-ending injury your rookie year, you deserve a second rookie year.
I think Brooks,
I'll give that.
The running back off of Carolina,
he missed the entire year. I could give him that.
He gets a second rookie year.
Yeah, for the All-Pro, the All-Rookie team, he should be eligible.
I think it should be a more common thing. Shout out to the NBA for doing one thing right. Let's get into the Ice Brigade. We're going to talk about the hockey matchups that are happening right now.
Yeah.
There's 2 series going on right now. We're going to talk about the ones that just wrapped up right now. The Oilers and the Stars just finished their game.
Yep.
4-1, the Oilers win.
Yeah, 3-1 in the series lead now.
And we've been saying this for a few weeks now. It seems like we're headed for a rematch for what happened last year. The Oilers are playing a level of hockey that is so impressive and engaging to watch.
A lot of people have broken down the NHL metrics of expected goal score to what the actual goal scoring in and winning margins. Mm-hmm. And it has flipped significantly where the West Coast now is fully just offensively focused. That's all they care about. The head coach for the Dallas Stars, after the first period in this game tonight, was on record saying because there was a little bit of chippiness.
Yeah.
Player got slashed in the foot, and the coach had to come out and tell the team in the locker room reportedly, guys, don't go after anything on the whistle. We're not built for that.
The Dallas Stars,
which is the exact opposite of what we're seeing in the Panthers series, where everything happens after the whistle.
Well, yeah, let's talk about both series. On the other side, Hurricanes are battling the Panthers, and the Panthers are doing what the Panthers do best, beating the absolute snot out of their opponents. Whether it's the most, PG game, maybe not. Like, are they doing a couple dirty things? Yeah.
Definitely.
Are they getting away with a ton of calls? Literally. Definitely. But that's their style of play because in the East, they are grimy, they're bumping, they're making their shots hard to make, and they're capitalizing on all their positions.
Prison Rules Paul, he gave up the game. I love that nickname for him.
Yeah, it's a great nickname.
He gave up the game like 2 years ago, I would say, where he was in it. He was caught on camera, like just hyping up the team essentially. And he was like, our game plan is we're going to hit the defense so hard in the beginning of games, in the beginning of series, they're not going to have anything left by the end of a series. Like his game strategy, he was quoted as saying, was we're going to play the first 5 minutes of the game as if there's no puck on the ice. We're just going to hit people.
Carolina, before winning this last game,
Yeah.
was on a 15-game losing streak in the Eastern Conference finals of the Stanley Cups. So I never really had a ton of hope for them to get past the Panthers because the Panthers really played an excellent series with the Maple Leafs. I did expect a little bit more fight. Now, they're going back to Carolina for this Game 5, and while some are predicting Carolina to maybe stand home on their ground and maybe continue this game, I think me and you are both like on the same side of
this is going to get wrapped up.
I think they're about to get smashed.
Yeah, I think this is it. Big thing for Carolina on the bright side is this is technically a rebuilding year for them.
Is it?
Yeah, this has not been compared to previous seasons. This has been a down year for them on terms of production. In terms of they have a few guys with like nagging injuries all year.
Did they trade
in terms
away
of
talent?
Draft pick? They traded away. They sold it. They had Mikko Rantanen and sold him.
I remember we talked about
like
this.
this was meant to be a selling year for them, and they just got here.
Do you think that's a testament to like how good the organization is from a hockey standpoint? Because
I think the head coaching situation is amazing there.
It feels like the Hurricanes are a team that are constantly reliable. Maybe they're not the most like, hey, we're going to win a Stanley Cup type of team, but they are always in the playoffs, and they're always a team that I'm like, hey, watch out for them.
I just off the cuff, I don't think they've had a losing season in the last 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, like they've been just extremely consistent.
Like one random like injury prone season. Of
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the front office keeps this team competitive. The only thing I would want for Carolina more is now that you've had experience in the Eastern Conference Finals, you guys have gotten there a little bit, you need to go all in. You know this team can get there. You need to push at the deadline and go all in and get a team that will compete for a cup.
Now, on the flip side, Oilers, who just beat the Stars.
Yeah.
The Stars were in a position where I thought they would be able to keep this game going back and forth. I didn't think this game would be 3-1. I really thought this series would be 2-2. I do think the Stars are a good team. I do think they're able to score. Now, are all their points off of one player? 100%.
Oh, Rantanen's the entire offense right now.
And he's been kind of shut out these last two games.
Well, what Edmonton has done well is when Rantanen has the puck, they always go one high, like they pressure immediately and then do one right behind to clean up any passes. And that's created where Dallas, so far in 4 games, only has 3 5-on-5 goals. Everything else they've scored so far has been power plays.
Yeah, that's tough.
And you cannot win games without a 5-on-5.
No, yeah, unless you want to get it mucky, which they're not.
And they don't. They don't want to get in front of the net.
Yeah.
Like we saw that with the one goal that they scored tonight where they finally were pushing, but it's not a normal thing for the Stars. They want to shoot from the outside. They pepper in shots. They don't want to get like grimy in the front.
Now, clearly, we're both probably taking the Oilers and the Florida Panthers to go to the next round in Stanley Cup Finals. But if you were to pick out of these two teams to make a miraculous 3-1 comeback a la LeBron James, what's the team you'd be willing to take?
Oh, it would be Dallas. No way Carolina's coming back from a 3-1 deficit right now. Dallas would be the only hope.
Gotcha. Do you think if you had to put a percentage to it, what do you think it'd be? Like, is it enough? I know you have your own little future with the Oilers, but if there's enough juice on that berry, would you be willing to try it?
I wouldn't be against it, depending on the news is still going to break later today and throughout tomorrow about Evander Kane's status because he was nursing a neck injury.
Yeah.
Hyman looked like he broke a finger or hurt his hand pretty bad during this game. With those, if those guys are out for a couple games, I'm not against chasing a plus 2,000 bet on Dallas, which I think where the line is right now.
Oh my gosh.
Because on the flip side, going into game 5, Panthers are minus 1,400.
Jeez.
To win the series.
They're probably around like 700.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind chasing that.
And at 700, what's $20?
Yeah. And
I mean,
especially if you have two of the top guys for Edmonton out for a little bit. Depending on what they're in, we don't know the full news. I would chase it.
You got anything else on this hockey breakdown?
No, I'm excited for the final. I'm excited for the Stanley Cup. This is going to be great.
Are you predicting this Edmonton? This would be awesome for Edmonton to get that revenge after last year.
Yeah.
After a really hard finals, Stanley Cup finals appearance last year. Them being able to win. Canada gets its Stanley Cup since 1992. McDavid gets it. I feel like that's a beautiful story.
I think it would be a good one, especially Reinhardt's banged up. He did miss the last game for Florida. They had 3 of their top 9 guys missing last game. So they are clearly there's some lingering stuff on Florida because that's the downside about playing as hard as they do is a hit goes both ways.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So if they're coming in banged up and if Edmonton, hopefully if Kane's stuff is not serious, Hyman could come back. I think Edmonton's entering the healthier team.
Puts them in a nice little spot.
Yeah.
I do think Florida is going to make it dirty, and I do think
they're going to get grimy.
I'm really excited for this because it does feel like here's this super strong, mucky team, and then here's this team that I think is playing damn near flawless hockey. They're playing amazing hockey.
No, they are.
So much fun to watch.
And what will be exciting if this series comes up again, which, I mean, it looks like percentage-wise it will, it's the longest distance in a North American championship series ever. Again, back-to-back years.
That's going to be brutal on your body.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm saying health is going to be a big factor, depending on what's going on with Reinhardt and such.
That's such an advantage for Florida because they really haven't had to travel. I mean, they did have to travel to
Toronto, but Carolina's real close.
Right there
versus Edmonton
Florida.
Edmonton to Dallas is a lot further.
I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that Edmonton Dallas flight probably feels like
it's
probably like 5, 6, 7 hours.
That's 3 to 4.
Really?
Yeah, that's not terrible, but it's definitely not the 1 hour pond hop that Florida to Carolina is. Yeah, you could drive that.
Damn. All right, let's talk about some Brock Purdy news. Brock Purdy got paid. He got the contract that he might deserve. What was it? 5 years, $265 million.
Yep, 5-year deal, $265. He has been to a Super Bowl. He has been to a couple NFC Championship games. He has won.
Do you think Brock Purdy deserves to be paid as much as Joe Burrow?
I'm going to quote Hushmanzada, who came out with a quote on this one, and I think it was a really good way of putting it. He goes, at one point, Jalen Hurts was overpaid. Now Jalen Hurts is considered underpaid because he won the Super Bowl with the Eagles. Purdy takes the 49ers to a Super Bowl and wins. Suddenly it's worth it, and he's now underpaid as a quarterback.
1,000%. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are technically underpaid.
Yeah, but
Patrick Mahomes is one of them. He's the 15th highest paid quarterback in the league now.
But he does get a lot of other incentives
100%.
outside of his contract.
And he has ownership of the team.
That's the big part, is he has a forever deal that's going to just keep making him money down the road.
For sure. And now he can take that pay cut and it doesn't go against the cap, which I think more teams like Baltimore should do, who now has Lamar Jackson on the 9th highest paid contract in the league, which is pretty nice.
It's nice. It feels good. I don't think we're going to give Lamar a stake in the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to give a player like that. You have to win a Super Bowl you have to win a Super Bowl or 2 in order for anyone to even think about
the fact that Brady never got that conversation in New England. To me, sets the tone right there. Is you have to not only be a generational talent, but be a generational talent who changes the franchise.
100%. The Kansas City Chiefs are changed
completely with
Patrick Mahomes. Is he the only quarterback that has that type of kind of deal that you get from him? Because he is a deal.
I would say Josh Allen could be in that conversation if he makes a Super Bowl. He doesn't have to win it.
Yeah.
If he gets them there, I want that conversation in Buffalo.
I did want to ask you. I started breaking it down.
Yeah.
So you were right about that whole Jalen Hurts. Now everyone's like Jalen Hurts is on a pretty good deal. Still makes $55 million a year.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott makes $60 million a year. I mean, Kyler Murray makes $49 million a year. These guys are making a lot of money. That Tua contract all of a sudden looks really tough.
Yeah, that's good. That's a rough one.
What happens if Brock Purdy's bad this year?
Which more likely than not might happen, considering it is a rebuilding year. And I think the quarterback market is so skewed because you don't know what you're going to get out of some of these guys who are the free agent floater kind of tier. Like, you didn't know Baker was going to be Baker when you signed him.
We're going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah, but I mean, you thought Kirko got a big contract.
He got a massive contract. Now
fell apart.
Yeah.
So it creates this anxiety for teams, and you see this with Kyler in my mind the most, of if we have a quarterback who we know can produce and even not even be like Lamar, top 3, Joe Burrow conversation, but just we know he's going to be good for the next 7-10 years. And he'll keep us competitive. Teams are just latching on, and like we'll overpay to not be in that quarterback carousel and panic.
It's tough to be in the quarterback carousel.
It is.
Trust me, I've been in it for like 8 years now. Well, we've had a quarterback for 2 years, so. But it's been hard. It's
a difficult
tough.
spot.
I'm at a point now where what if the new NFL meta, because there always is a new NFL meta, is finding these cheaper quarterbacks, the Bakers, the Genos, and building a core team around him instead of overpaying one position or two positions, kind of like what the Bengals are doing, where they're like, we're just going to pay 3 positions and then we'll try to draft a perfect team. That isn't going to
too much
work.
of an extreme, but I do like that idea because that's what Minnesota did.
But that's what that's what a lot of teams are doing. That's what the 49ers are doing. They're putting all this money in like stars that are aging instead of spreading the wealth. Do you think that's a better strategy to building a long franchise and something that's willing to win right away?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think Minnesota's doing it right, where they do have money in their stars. Like JJ got paid. I know that. But the value of a top wide receiver contract is nowhere near a top quarterback contract.
They still have $30 million off now.
Yeah, they still have a lot of money. They still built a great defense and are paying defensive players. They still have a solid O-line and have built it up more. And you can go get, like you saw with Sam Darnold, if he just didn't pumpkin at the very end, it's a very different show there. And the fact that you now have a rookie stepping in and save even more money to go build around him, you got a 4-year window right now in Minnesota.
Seattle just made the same move where they're like, we're going to get rid of DK Metcalf. We're going to bring in Sam Darnold, and we're going to have a quarterback that we know is good enough to win games, and we don't have to spend $50 million a year on it.
I think Seattle knows it's in a rebuild. They're trying to... McDonald over there has another...
Sam Darnold.
No, McDonald, the coach. Coach McDonald
Coach,
has another year or two to build the team in his image.
Yeah.
Like, Seattle has given him that leash.
Do you think that what these teams are building, a la like the Dallases, the San Francisco 49ers, these Bengals Joe Burrow contracts, I kind of group them all together in the same because they are quarterbacks who are and have shown flashes of being very, very good.
Yeah.
But they've also shown flashes of like, hey, they cannot do it all by themselves. I like Joe Burrow. I know you feel your ways about Joe Burrow.
I think he's above average. I don't think he's elite, but I put him as a good quarterback. He deserves to be a starter. He deserves to be top 10 paid.
Every other day I wake up and I'm like, all right, I don't know if he's good or bad. I know he's good, but like I don't know how good he is. Right now, I think I have him firmly planted in like that 6 spot for me.
Okay, I have him a little. I think I have him at 8, but I think a lot of that is it's hard to evaluate because you've never seen him without Jamar Chase.
Yeah, but
you've never seen him without.
Can't strike that away, and I have seen him without Jamar Chase for 3 games before he broke his face.
Yeah, But I'm just saying you don't know the elite talent level without having a great supporting cast around him consistently.
I still don't believe he's had a great supporting cast around him. I think he's had like 2 good receivers and the worst like
terrible
linemen.
Yeah, without a doubt
in the league next to like whatever the Bears decide to put out. All right, cool. So you don't think that Brock Purdy got overpaid?
I think the 49ers know they're in a spot of we need to win right now, and this is our only option.
The Niners do like to do this thing every few years where they're like really, really good, and then they'll suck for 1 year just to rebuild and get their contracts in order, and then the next year, they're back to being good for
That's
like
a
2
Shanahan
years.
move. That's not just the 49. That's the entire Shanahan clan.
I love
they've mastered that.
Maybe I'm starting to get higher and higher on like teams like the Raiders and the 49ers. I'm starting to like get into NFL mode where I'm predicting what's going to happen down the road. We're going to have some good episodes.
Sounds good.
Let's get into Bust of the Week. Bust of the Week. I'm going to give you guys my Bust of the Week. It is College Football Committee. Today we had a breakdown where we officially passed in the college football playoffs that seeding no longer matters. If you make it into the top 12, it just ends up wherever you rank in the coach's AP poll. So if you're ranked first, you're the first team in the bracket.
Yep.
Makes sense. From 1 to 12, where you land, you fit nicely in a bracket like every bracket has ever existed.
I don't know why they try to get too cute. It doesn't make sense.
Fine. Some people are a little upset that they feel like the conference title games mean a little less. I still think the conference title games will always mean something.
I think
because it's for bye weeks.
Exactly. Conference titles should guarantee you a spot in the top 12, and that's it.
I don't know if it guarantees you. I think if there's a team that has like 3 losses, like if North Carolina somehow gets into the ACC championship and they have 3 losses and they play against a Clemson team that has 1 loss and they lose, they win in a very close game, I don't think they deserve a bye week. I don't think
they deserve a bye week, but they deserve to be in the top 12.
But if they lose by a touchdown, I don't believe they deserve to be in that top 12.
But my argument is if you win your division, you deserve to be a top 12 no matter what. I don't care if you're 12th.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like, no way a Mountain West school right now should be top 3 for just winning the Mountain West. That's crazy.
That's not even the bust. The bust for me is there are already whispers about moving the playoffs to a 16 seed, which I love 12. I think it's the perfect amount of number for college football. I think 16 really you're actually devaluing games at that point. I think if you look at like Michigan, Ohio State last year, literally would have meant for nothing.
I think if you're going to have the NFL style where we're going to reduce bye weeks dramatically, of like maybe just first overall or even then just get rid of bye weeks.
They have 2 to 3 bye weeks in college football.
No, I don't mean like bye weeks during the season. I mean bye for the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to be okay getting rid of those or just giving them the first seeds only, then I'm fine with 16. Because then those games matter a little bit more.
I don't know, man. I think
it's the argument of, do you need a playoff bye?
I think there should be a playoff bye. I think there should be incentive for you winning your Big Ten championship. The teams that won the SEC that had to play Georgia and Tennessee and Texas and somehow win. If LSU pulls that off and they have to end up still hosting, I don't know, Kansas State in a home game, like, sure, they're probably going to win that game, but they deserve that bye week. That's what it's
division title won't get you the bye. It's only the top 4 seeds.
Yeah, but
so even if you run through all those teams and you end up with 2,
if you win the division, especially the SEC or the Big Ten, they're going to give you the bye week.
They're going to move you to the top 4.
Yeah.
But those other 2 teams,
I don't know. The whispers that really started to fire me off is they're already talking about 32 teams.
That's too much.
And that's where I'm like, okay, so what are we doing?
Either that or you play the regular season, the full length of games, and then 32 afterwards.
I mean, that's what the playoffs are already.
I know, but if you keep adding more games to the playoffs, you cannot take games away from the regular season.
I mean, right now the regular season's 13 or 12. Yeah, 13 games.
Yeah, that's a good number of college football games. If you're going to make it to playoffs, run the gauntlet.
The maximum you can play is 16 games. So whatever that is. That's including so it's 12 games a season, 1 championship game, and then even if you play in the championship game, you have to play 3 playoff games.
The minute they move it to
16.
The minute they move it to over 12 teams, even 16, if you do the buys correctly and everything, you can get away with it. But the minute they move it over that, you're going to have to start taking. You're going to start taking games away from the regular season. If the max is 16, if there's a hard cap on how many games that are allowed, you're going to start taking away games that way.
I also think college football should be played like 2 weeks earlier. I think they should start mid-August, and then we get like the playoffs all of December, and then like
championship games around New Year's,
right after New Year's. Literally, like the Rose Bowl's on a Tuesday, and then the championship game is next Monday. Like, that's what I want. Well, I think it's already pretty much that.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
tight to that because, the conference finals were...
We're like end of November.
Yeah, the
and then,
semifinals.
yeah. 16 is just too much. I'm good.
I'm fine with 16 games. I'm good with that. I do enjoy it, but...
I don't want to see a 9-win Iowa make it in because they beat Eastern Carolina and
32
Akron.
is too much. 32 is too much. 16, I think, is fair.
But that's what will happen. We're going to get an Iowa team that beat Indiana and Illinois, and we're going to be like, oh, this Iowa team, yeah, they lost to Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan, but maybe they can beat the big bad Ole Miss. They're not. They're going to get smashed by Ole Miss. I don't need to watch that game.
No, but they're trying to get closer to March Madness because that gets all the views. That gets the hype.
If we're doing March Madness, no buys, 32 teams, let's do this. Let's get buck nasty. I don't want any favoritism. I want the even amount of teams across all bids. Yeah. I don't want there to just be 12 random dudes in a room who make all the decisions like God. I want it to be a fan vote, and I want it there clearly through schedule and like prompted rules. Anything other than that, we're just incentivizing big programs to constantly win.
Yeah, essentially.
Because what happens if Appalachian State wins 11 games and loses? They win 11 games. They have a fantastic season. Yeah, they probably deserve to make the 12-team playoffs.
Yeah.
And maybe even host a game. In a 16 league playoff, they're going to play on the road. They're going to push them to the side. I think this only incentivizes teams like leagues like the Big Ten and SEC to get stronger and stronger because they're already talking about how they want automatic bids for the 12-team playoffs.
No, you should not get automatic bids. You got to win your way in no matter what.
The SEC is like all week has been like, we want automatic 4 teams.
Well, because they're upset that they've had a lot of issues with their teams recently. Like, they have not been the powerhouse conference in the last 2 years compared to other conferences.
The Big Ten. I think the SEC's just realized, like, hey, maybe we made our conference too good.
Yeah.
Like, is it a
They
problem?
cannibalize themselves.
That's a big problem. I don't know.
But I think that makes the conference title mean more.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
if
you're coming out, if you're the big dog of the big dogs,
yeah, Georgia
you should do it. You should want to have that title.
Yeah, if Archie Manning figures out a way to win the SEC this year off of like 1 or 2 losses and wins the SEC, that's a big bad Texas team.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, Don, thank you for talking me through that bust pick or my bust of the week. Don, what's yours?
Mine is Fox Sports. This came out before the weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Fox put out a bunch of ads, kind of like hidden a little bit online, basically asking fans to send in their own like scripted videos, specifically for baseball. The one that went viral a little bit was the Mets script, asking fans to set up their phone or camera, take 2 clips of them, basically the scenario of bottom of the ninth, Mets at home, and you hit a walk-off, show your celebration, and pour milk on your face.
Pour that milk on you.
And what I don't like about it, I'm like, that's fine if you're going to try to do that as a viral advertising thing. The big reason was the Indianapolis 500 was this weekend. It was a way to generate kind of clicks and views.
That's what doing they do the Indy, right?
Yeah, where they drink the milk in Indy when you win.
Indy.
My issue was after the Mets game, after the Red Sox game, they did this on a couple different games. The hard camera was set to a fan who was placed behind home plate doing this celebration if the home team won, and nowhere in the broadcast, nowhere in the social media afterwards when Fox was trying to run it, did they say this was a paid person there, a paid advertisement for this? Nothing.
No, they just kind of ran it like it was a naturally occurring fandom thing.
Like all of a sudden, all these fans across these stadiums are celebrating that way.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until they got called out and all those scripts got leaked and everything came out that they go, "Oh, actually, we paid for it. No, we're sorry."
You got to be careful with that script word when you come to NFL or like sports. It's a little scary.
The fan was scripted. The fan celebration was scripted.
I hear you. Which is very disingenuous and very like grimy and gross.
It does feel that way because it's now you are paid. Like there was a whole lawsuit over paid content and advertising.
Yeah, where you have to announce that like this is a paid advertisement if you're promoting a product. I don't think they were
directly promoting the Indy 500.
Yeah.
That was they had to come out and say it was for the Indy 500 to generate views for it.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in if you're Fox. You got to know better than that.
You have to know better than that.
teams and like organizations and channels have been playing with it. A few years ago, we got like those people dressed up like robots in the NFL games to promote a movie. Or was it Westworld? I think it was.
It was for Westworld, and then you have the people smiling behind home plate for Smile.
So
but
like, it's been a thing.
I like that the franchises immediately came out when, hey, this is us. This is ours. We're doing this on purpose.
Correct. It never felt like it was like, oh my gosh, can you believe that this is actually happening?
Because like that first time it happened is like, okay, who's this psycho doing this behind home plate, and who gave him milk?
Yeah, and if the NFL or like the MLB was posting it, it was a clear like nod to like, this is the movie.
Yes, exactly. And like they winked at it, they played into the idea that it was an ad.
Crazy. I mean,
it just feels gross that Fox was trying to lie.
Could you what?
Like Fox Sports trying to lie is not something that comes up every time. It's Fox Sports.
Plead the fifth. Hall of Famer of the week, our second annual Hall of Famer of the week. My Hall of Famer of the week will come after Don's. Don, you give yours.
I got to get flowers up. U.S. men's hockey did win the World Championships
You're
the first
saying
time.
Nice things about U.S. men's hockey.
First time winning it since in 92 years in the international play. But what I really loved,
boys.
What I really loved, and it was awesome to see them celebrating with a Gaudreau jersey when they came and got the championship. They immediately brought it out. Like the entire celebration was honoring the Gaudreau family. Like, and so it wasn't just that they had a great game, good tournament to come in, beat out Switzerland in the finals, 1-0 in overtime.
Wait, Canada wasn't in the finals for this one?
No, Canada got upset by Denmark with a last-second goal, and that pushed them out of the semifinal.
Couldn't be us. Denmark? That's embarrassing.
Denmark got bronze, so I can't complain too much there. But I just loved seeing the family outpour for the Gaudreau family there, and like still the honoring there.
America and Canada are officially even in hockey championships this year. This Stanley Cup's big for the morale of this.
And then
rivalry.
immediately it's the Olympics.
Yeah, and then this is gonna be so much fun to watch. My Hall of Famer of the week, and he is a legend, is Jim Irsay, who did die. He's the Colts owner. Kind of I've expressed so many times about how much I love Jim Irsay. I think he's maybe not what you want out of your owner, but exactly how you would act if you were an owner.
He's a crazy person.
Yeah, like he
was a crazy person.
He spent all of his money on like rock memorabilia, and like he would give so much money to like random people because he's so filthy rich, and he's always been like. There's so many stories that have come out of like him paying for funerals and like charities and stuff, and he bought like multiple homeless complexes to like help.
As controversial as the man was in a lot of his personal life, which he was, he did so much for the city and tried to invest so much into the state as well. Because he was so like just diehard of this is my town.
Youngest owner of any professional sports team of all time.
Yep.
Youngest GM at 27, he was given their hands to the Colts in the 80s. Did a terrible job. Don't worry, he was just as bad as an owner. He wasn't the most head screwed on type, but he loved his players. He would often pay out contracts even when they would end their contracts early. He gave Andrew Luck $42 million, even though he didn't need to, just because that's his guy, and he felt like he needed to fulfill his word. Jim Irsay is awesome and a Hall of Famer of the week. Shout out to Jim Irsay.
A very passionate man about what he cared about.
Love Jim Irsay. Now the Colts' new ownership is left to the three daughters, who are going to be. I think the oldest daughter is going to be taking over like the chairman for like all the rules and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, the day-to-day stuff.
But it's going to be really interesting to see what the Colts' direction is, because there's already rumors about selling the team, and I'm not ready to handle that.
No, it needs to stay in the family. Or hopefully they just sell to one of the sisters and they just take full ownership. That would be nice.
Well,
keep it in the family.
I do see a world where Indianapolis or the Colts have a brand that's strong enough or recognizable enough to just be like, all right, you're the first London team, or like you're the first team in like Austin, or somewhere random where like I lose my Colts. We'll
see.
I'm in a spiral.
I could tell. I could still see Jacksonville being the first London team.
Oh, yeah, I mean, they have to be.
Shout out the Cons.
They should be. Shout out to the Cons. Let's go into Nothing But Net, where we talk about the NBA playoffs. Game 4 just happened between the Knicks and the Pacers.
Yeah.
We watched that. Me and Don Are you a resident Knicks, or what's going on with you? Because I felt like you were rooting for the Knicks, but I could have sworn that we were both Indy boys.
I was rooting for just like it was a great game until I saw the reffing. No, that's what it was. That's what sent me. The fact that Josh Hart got smacked in the face and pushed off of, and they called a foul on him on there.
Yeah, and he got fouled out. It was a
big moment, and it was clearly not his fault.
Down by 9 by that point.
Yeah, but it's still a big one. In the last 2 minutes, and you have your best defensive player out.
One of their best.
I would say best defensive player out. Brunson got tackled like 2 or 3 times, and he got called for it.
Well, that's Brunson doing his foul baiting thing, but Tyrese Halliburton was getting knocked all over in the first half.
I think Naismith was throwing his body at the end. Like he
does that. He flipped.
But he was flopping hard, and the fact that he was getting the calls, that's what soured me on the game.
I'm gonna look up. I don't know what the free throws are, but I'm willing to bet all my life that they had more free throws.
36 for the Knicks. I think Knicks shot 36. 38.
How many free throws do you think Jalen Brunson took?
15 to 18.
12.
Oh, okay, that's a lot less. Dang.
I mean, that's a lot of free throws.
That's a lot of free throws.
The guy in second was Karl Anthony Towns with 9. OG Anunoby with 9.
Okay, how many for the Pacers then?
Well, the highest player was Tyrese Halliburton with 6. He got the free throw 6 times, half. And then the other guy was 6 at Pascal Siakam, who led the team with points. Or second in points at 30. Tyrese Halliburton at 32.
How many was their total?
What do you mean?
Total free throws.
Less than the rest of the league. I don't have that information. Okay. They had far less free throws, though. Just based
I was just curious on how tight that was.
They were definitely... The entire game, the officiating was like they're clearly giving the Knicks the break because they were gassed. That seems to be what I've been watching with the Pacers. I know it's a joke that we say the Pacers know how to play their game.
Yeah.
That's how they were able to beat the Cavaliers. They play at a high intensity and they have enough bodies to consistently play at a high tempo. How do you beat that? You need to get to the free throw. You need to get them in foul trouble, and you need to slow down the game so that way your guys can have rest.
Yeah, I mean, and Knicks didn't figure that out until the very end when they finally got Turner fouled out.
Well, I mean, they were getting to the free throw the whole game.
Yeah, but I meant like in terms of attacking specific players. Like if you know that you need to go get fouls to slow down the game, or even just slow down in your transition, you need to go after the specific guys. You can't just chase the hoop. And a big thing for both these series, because I know we're going to talk about the T-Wolves and Thunder.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about it now because they're also down 3-1.
Well, a big one is a big thing the Pacers have done very, very well is backcourt pressure, where you're seeing an average NBA offensive rating go down by 2 to 4 points this playoffs when a team faces backcourt pressure.
So they're just pressuring the backcourt the entire time.
Exactly. Like last year's Eastern semis, Pacers pressured Jalen Brunson more than any other ball handler was pressured all of last season.
I mean,
and then in second in that, T-Wolves pressured Jamal Murray in the Western semis more than anybody. And then third was T-Wolves pressuring Reggie Jackson. Both Minnesota and the Pacers won those series. So, like, that's what it's shown. That offensive...
Pressuring the ball-dominant point guard and forcing him to make tough shots is the way to beat these teams.
Exactly.
I don't need stats.
No, you don't need stats. But the fact that the stats are directly backing up, being passive on defense in playoffs do not work.
I hear you. But playing defense takes a lot of energy.
It does.
The Knicks and the Pacers, I would say, are the two prime examples of, yes, basketball is fun, but both these teams really, really do pick and choose when they decide to play defense.
Yeah.
Of course, we were talking about Josh Hart being a really good defensive player. Mikal Bridges, I would say, is a really good defensive player, and Robinson's a very good defensive player. Pascal Siakam's great.
He's been locked down when he needs to be.
They pick and choose their spots. We made the joke earlier.
You play the clutch moments. You play the big moments.
They play really good defense in the last 5 minutes, both these teams. I think these games have been really, really fun to watch.
Oh, they have, without a doubt.
I kind of want the Knicks to win the next game so that way we can get more. And I kind of hate that New York's kind of dead. They're really sad. They try to come out and give it like one last push, but it does feel like at the end of this game today, New York's now like, what do we do now?
And it's interesting because I know Towns did get banged up pretty bad with his knee.
Yeah.
Seeing that's going to be a huge storyline going into the next game. Like, I think depending on his health is where this team goes.
Do you think that they have any chance of coming back 3-1?
No. But I think they have a chance to make it a game 6.
All their games have been very close. There's never been a point. This is probably the only game where I was like, Pacers are better than the Knicks in this game. Every other game has been like both these teams are playing their butts off.
Yeah, it's been tight.
I do see a world where the Knicks can figure it out. It's all going to come down to Towns' health, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get into the Thunder game. Thunder versus the Timberwolves. Timberwolves are down now 3-1. Mm-hmm. They had moments last night where I was watching the game and I go, yes, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is really good at basketball. And yes, everyone wants to call him a foul merchant, whatever. Even if it's on national TV, they feel comfortable enough to call him that. I don't. I think Chet Holmgren is a Wemby-level star. I think
I'm not there at all with him.
There's so many times in that game where Shai was like, I don't know what to do with this ball. I'm not getting the call. Let me throw it off to Chet. And Chet would do these step-back threes at 7-4. It shouldn't be legal. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And there's other moments where people are driving down. They don't know what to do. They just throw it to him, and he makes a play. I get it. He's a big guy. He can make those big plays. But it's so impressive that he can do it.
I think the biggest difference between Wemby and Chet, for me, where I don't think Chet has it yet, is Chet's not the focal point. He is the second or third option.
Yeah.
When Shai drives the lane, the defense collapses in on him.
100%.
Chet's sitting out open.
Uh-huh.
I want to see Chet take that next step and take over a game and be the dominant.
I mean, the way that they're built, he can't be.
Yeah.
Check this stat out. Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the Thunder have combined for more playoff points in a game in the Western Conference Championships than Westbrook, Durant, and James Harden ever did for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, I mean, because Harden and Westbrook did not coexist well.
Still, those were all 3 MVPs. These are... I'm not going to say this team has 3 MVPs.
No.
They have 3 all-NBA style players on their team. Whether they're first team, second team, or third team, that's a debate. But I do believe this Thunder team is elite.
I think it's too top-heavy for me, personally.
They're deep. The Caruso's coming off the bench.
Yeah, Caruso's coming off the bench, but if you take away one of their big 3 and just remove them from the game, I don't think they could keep up with the Pacer-style ball.
But no one else has even enough players to play with them, except maybe the Pacers.
I would say the Pacers do. I think T-Wolves are doing okay.
T-Wolves are not doing okay. They're down 3-1.
They're down 3-1, but Ant still is able to take over at moments and still make big plays.
He was pretty bad in the beginning of the game last game. And then, yes, he came alive in the fourth quarter, but, when they needed him to make knockdown shots, he was not doing it.
Oh, no, because he puts it all on his shoulders. He doesn't focus on passing the ball around. He wants to play like hero ball.
I was...
Once Ant gets away from I need a hero ball and end of the game, I think his game evolves massively.
I have the funniest stat to tell you.
Sure.
Do you know who's the all-time points leader for the Timberwolves in the playoffs?
It's Garnett, right?
Nope. It is Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards in 4 years has passed what Kevin Garnett took 8 playoffs to do already.
Yeah.
Do you know who number 4 is on that list?
Who's number 4?
Jalen McDaniels, who's also on this team right now. Yeah. And if they make the playoffs 2 more years and make deep runs, Jalen McDaniels might be the second leading scorer in Timberwolves history in only 5 seasons in playoffs. That is incredible.
Yeah. No, that is a very impressive pace, but they're also scoring a lot more than T-Wolves ever really have, too.
I mean, you look at the shot metric. I think he's taken 160 more shots than Kevin Durant did.
Exactly.
And that was in 8 years. So it is different. Anthony Edwards led the league this year in 3-pointers attempted. So I get it. He shoots a lot. Everyone really wants Anthony Edwards to be the face of the league. It feels like that's what the NBA is pushing. And with LeBron James opting into his contract this year, there's a lot of rumors that LeBron's leaving.
Yeah.
He controls 70% of eyes in the NBA. He's the biggest brand in basketball. Yes.
Yeah. No, yeah. Without
Once he leaves, 100% there will be a hole in the NBA.
There's a massive void with Curry stepping back more just due to age and everything. Yeah. He's not going to take over that same way.
I think Curry can hold it for about 2-3 more years after.
He's not going to get 70%.
No. But 50?
Maybe. But the Warriors have to be good.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Butler. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were really banking on Anthony Edwards to be there, and Anthony Edwards getting to a NBA Finals this year would have done it. Now, I don't think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has that.
No, he does not have that star power in him.
I think he's an amazing player. I think
on the court, he is.
People really don't like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Is it the fouling stuff?
It's the style of gameplay. I think that's the biggest issue.
Do you respect his game?
It's an efficient way to win.
That's not what I asked.
No, I respect it in that way of when it comes down to play like regular season. I'm like, dude, come on, you got to clean it up, play classier.
Regular season NBA Player of the Year though.
But playoffs, you win how you win.
Okay.
Like I will never short of doing anything illegal. Like I don't want to see some dude running down and clotheslining somebody. But if that's helping you win games, do I think it's unfair? Do I think you have an advantage? Yes. Do I think it's not the most exciting way to watch basketball? 100%. But if you're winning championships that way, teams need to adapt to you and figure it out.
Do you think that the Timberwolves have any chance of coming back down 3-1?
I think they have a chance. I think they're more likely to come back than the Knicks are right now.
Are they more likely than any other 3-1 in all the major sports that we talked about today? Hockey and basketball.
I think out of all teams, they have the best run at it.
Gotcha. Over the Stars.
Over the Dallas Stars. But
I kind of agree with you.
I don't think their odds are great. I would put them at like 18%.
Okay.
And even that feels high to me.
You're just saying there's a chance.
No, there's a chance. 100% there's a chance. But I just don't think it. I think they're the best odds if you were to put down a 3-1 bet.
You know what this playoffs has taught me? Out of a lot of the lessons I've learned, well, number one is like Tyrese Halliburton is a star, and there's nothing you can say, and he might be. I mean, he was already one of my favorite players in the league. I might be respecting Rudy Gobert more and more every day, which is really crazy because most of everyone will tell you he's not that good at basketball,
and he's been great.
I think he might be like. People should be talking about him more as like one of the premier defensive players.
I mean,
of
he
our
is a
generation.
3-time defensive player of the year.
4-time
at this point. But the idea that he's also following it up and putting up multiple 25-plus point performances in playoffs.
And he's now been at 2 Western Conference championships. Like
yeah,
he's
an anchor.
He's a very good basketball player.
Yes.
And like if he was doing what he's doing in the 90s, I mean, he's basically Patrick Ewing. I know he's not the number one player, but like he's like.
I don't think he has a jumper that Ewing had.
Yeah,
Ewing had a decent fadeaway.
I'm not talking about like play styles. I'm talking about like more legacy and like what they've been able to accomplish. But
sure,
I don't know. Let's get into question of the day. I had a couple ideas for question of the day today, but the number one NFL story, and it seems like it's going to continue being, is the Aaron Rodgers legacy talk and like what's happening with Aaron Rodgers. The Kirk Cousins news that now the Steelers might be looking into Kirk Cousins as an option if the Aaron Rodgers thing falls apart. And Aaron Rodgers going on these podcasts talking about, like, I would never play in Dallas, but I would love to come back to Green Bay and maybe say goodbye to them. And
he burnt that bridge.
Him saying, like, I would never play in New Orleans. It sounds like the pipeline with the Pittsburgh thing might not actually be happening, and maybe retirement might actually be happening. If Aaron Rodgers does retire and we're done seeing the Aaron Rodgers saga, where does this put him in your top 10? Is Aaron Rodgers a top 10 quarterback all time for you? Because for me, he gets in.
I think he scrapes in. Like, because I think, yes, he did perform on field amazing. But the collapse of Aaron Rodgers at the end.
Yes.
His peak is inarguable.
A lot of people have bad ends. A lot of people
have bad ends. But I think it's not just the talent and the body falling apart at the end, but it's also
how he did it.
Okay.
Okay.
Like I don't think it's egregious to this extent at all.
Yeah.
But it's the same conversation as Antonio Brown. The peak of Antonio Brown, I'll put head to head with almost any wide receiver ever.
I'm a little bit lower on Antonio Brown than the rest of the world. I don't think Antonio Brown was ever the number one clear-cut receiver in the NFL.
I think he was
2 a lot.
Okay.
I would have never put him over Calvin, and I would never put him against Julio Jones. I think both those guys were better receivers than he was, even though he outperformed them sometimes.
Sure. That's fair enough for me, but I think it's but we're not talking Antonio Brown in the legacy conversation.
Correct.
Due to the end.
Yeah, we're not like Antonio Brown top 20 conversation, which, maybe that's another day. I think Aaron Rodgers top 10.
That's a conversation.
Real conversation.
That's a real conversation until he's done burning these bridges.
Well, the bridges are burnt. Let's just say today's over. And, like, he goes into his mushroom pasture, and then he opens up his...
Ayahuasca's everything.
Yeah, and he just does his thing, right? He just goes off the grid, whatever. I'd actually respect it because I'm like, okay, it's not a bit. Like, this is genuinely...
You're finally stepping away. It
Correct.
doesn't need to be about you.
Peyton Manning over him.
Yes.
John Elway over him. Tom Brady. Joe Montana.
Yep.
Drew Brees.
I would put Steve Young over him, personally.
Steve Young also has only one.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay. 1 MVP. He has 4 MVPs.
I'll still put Steve Young over him.
Dan Marino.
No.
Okay.
No, Dan Marino, no. I don't want to put Drew Brees
Patrick
over
Mahomes,
him.
yes.
Mahomes, yeah. So that's 8.
Yeah, Roger Staubach, probably not.
I would say for legacy and history of the game, yes. For actual, like, building a team today, no.
Here's a name. Ben Roethlisberger. Who do you think at the end of the day was a better player at quarterback? Was it Ben Roethlisberger, or Aaron Rodgers?
That's a good one.
Not who had a better career.
No. But who was a better quarterback?
And quarterback, Aaron Rodgers or Ben Roethlisberger?
I would have to give that to Rodgers, personally.
Isn't it a little closer than you think?
It's tight. Because, like, I hate that I'm going to do this, and I know this is going to sound blasphemous, but if you look stats, team to teams, I think it's tighter with Phillip Rivers, too. I want his name in that conversation.
I love Phillip Rivers. He's nowhere near
You give him 2 years of decent special teams, and Phillip Rivers is immediately in that conversation.
I can't, though. There's so many. I love Phillip Rivers. I love what he was.
3 times in his career, he led the #1 offense.
I hear you. I think Phillip Rivers is a lot closer to Joe Burrow than you want to give him to.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm fine with that.
And I don't think Joe Burrow, if Joe Burrow were to continue doing exactly what he's doing for the next 10 years, yes, he'd be a really good quarterback. Yes, I'd remember him fondly as a very good quarterback. There's no world where I put him in a top 10 conversation.
No, I'm not putting, but I'm saying he's closer to Rodgers. Because I think he's.
I think Rodgers in that Marino category, that Steve Young category, where they're like extremely talented players that just didn't win as much as the greats did.
Yeah.
I think if he wins one more, if he would have, he's in that elite conversation of the Mahomes, of the Mannings, of the Elways, of the Bradys.
I love that you put Mannings, like you said Mannings plural, because that implies Eli's in that conversation.
I don't think Eli's a top 10 quarterback, but you cannot...
No, you can't take away the talent that he had, the two Super Bowls that he did.
You cannot... write the story of the NFL without Eli Manning in bold.
Yeah. Yes.
Eli Manning's stamp on the NFL
massive.
It means more than a lot of people will ever give it credit for. He should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer, and it's BS that he wasn't.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. That's almost it, Don. We just have our picks of the week. I have a new strategy for my pick of the week.
All right, let's hear it.
Because I'm on a 0-3 streak.
Sure.
I have now decided to take, if I love something, the exact opposite. I love the Phillies. I've been chasing the Phillies all year.
Okay.
They've kind of been the only thing that's been hitting for me. I've been betting the Dodgers too, but they've kind of been losing a little bit for me.
Yeah, a little rough.
I'm taking the Braves money line because they play the Phillies on Thursday night.
Okay.
They're going to be underdogs. It's going to be plus money. And I'm taking Chris Sale strikeouts. Right now it's projected at 7.5. He is expected to start.
Yeah.
His last line, every single time it's been at 7.5 this year, he's beaten it 4 out of 3 times.
That's not bad.
It's not a great stat, but in 7 games, he's beaten it 4 times.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
That sounds good.
What's your pick of the week?
For me, it's a line that is not out yet, but I'm saying it's going to be out before our next episode.
Uh-huh.
Connor McDavid MVP for the Stanley Cup.
They don't... Oh, okay. Do they give...
They give series-long MVPs.
Okay.
So basically like the equivalent of a finals MVP.
He's going to be a favorite, but it's going to be plus money.
It's going to be plus money because Florida will be the favorite coming in. But I don't think that Ryan Hart is in that conversation right now, banged up. I don't think... Like the only person I would give like a solid odds otherwise is Bobrovsky in Florida net.
What's the number you hammer bet? Where you're like, that number is too big for me to not put a healthy amount of money on
Plus 350 or higher.
Really? Because I think it's going to come out around 240. I think it's going to be around that 180 to 240. If it gets to 350,
hammer it.
Okay.
Like 240 is where I would take it personally, just because I am betting Oilers and I think that they do it.
If the Oilers make it.
But if it's 350, take the shot. You got nothing to lose.
I love that. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Bust Picks. Go check us out on YouTube, on the apps. It's going to be so much fun. My name is Dio. That is Don. And remember,
pray for the parlay.